MREC TV.
Welcome to the show, fellas. Welcome to the show. Let's get straight to it, man. Let's get straight to it. The big event is taking place this Saturday. Man, the audience, the boxing world is very divided on this one. You know, Steve Espinoza said you could kind of see the divide when it comes to race, right? You know, the majority of black fans are voting for Crawford, or they're rooting for Crawford. The majority of Mexican fans are rooting for, Canelo. I want to know from you guys, based on your expertise, how do you see this fight playing out? Zab, I want to start with you.
For myself, I think it's going to be a very excellent fight. It's going to be a very intriguing fight from the beginning. But I think that once the fight starts, and my prediction, if Bud comes in the ring, because that's my prediction of who I think is going to win Bud.
Okay.
So I think if he comes in, starts fast, starts letting, Bud go, you know what I'm saying? Started out with right-handed and he switched up to the left-handed style, busting Canelo up, making him miss, hitting him with great counter punches and counter shots. By the 11th round, he'll be softened up and we can sit him down.
Sit him down.
Sit him down. Sit him down.
Hold up, Zab. Hold up, man. We have never seen
this.
Anybody sit down Canelo Alvarez.
So let's say Terrence Bud Crawford has been doing things that we've never seen done in boxing before. He's been doing it.
Really, what is it that he's done? And by the way, I'm a Crawford guy.
He was the first man to become undisputed.
All right.
2 different times. I mean, the way he's moving up and down the scale of the weight classes and dominating these fighters. Well, nobody thought he was going to dismantle Earl Spence like that.
Yeah.
Nobody thought that.
Well, hold up. One person did.
I mean, yeah. I mean, okay, even though Thomas said that, but we didn't think he was going to do it like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We knew he was going to beat him. We didn't think he was going to do it like that.
Like he was going to dominate him like that.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Earl Spence is one of my favorite fighters. You know what I'm saying? He still is having a tough time coming back around. You know what I mean? So when fighters are doing things like that, that's the level of greatness that I'm saying that we're going to see tomorrow night.
Okay. And what about you, Antonio Tarver, who is very, I was telling Antonio that how much I enjoy his commentary and his expertise when I watch him cover fights, even if he's covered it from home live from his IG. I love what he has to say. You do not hold back. How do you see this fight playing out?
Well, I must say, I'm Bud County all the way.
Bud
you know
County,
what I'm saying?
right.
I've been following this guy for a long, long time, man. Southpaw, switch hitter, and he's a two-fisted monster.
Yeah.
He used those hands better than anybody. And but he is fighting Canelo Alvarez.
Right.
You know what I mean? I think moving up 2 weights is going to be challenging.
Mm-hmm.
But if anybody can do it successfully, it's a guy named Bud Crawford.
How is he going to do it? Zab said if he softens him up by the 11th round, he could sit him down.
Well, when you look at Canelo last few fights, he hasn't been really active. He hasn't been throwing combination punches. It's been like one punch at a time, one here, one there. And I think he's going to have to get back to his boxing combination style. I think if we see the Canelo, and I call him Saul, with Saul show up, the one guy that defeated Plant, that was the active Canelo that I believe will give anybody problems. But the Canelo we've been seeing recently, it just seemed like, he don't have that hunger or intensity that he used to have when he was a young kid coming up. And I think when you look at it, being hungry in boxing is important.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think they're fighting for 2 different reasons tomorrow night.
And I'll give you the rebuttal. So you got a guy in Canelo who's been in there 3 times with Triple G.
Right.
One of the best punchers of his generation. Been in there with Bivol, another guy with power. He took it all. Why is Bud different? You're saying, Bud is going to do something that Canelo and Bivol were unable to do.
Skill. It's a different type of skill level. I'm telling you, watch. We're gonna see it tomorrow night. It's different skill level when it comes to this. The hand craftsmanship is different. Watch.
And I can say when you look at those fighters that you mentioned, GGG and Bivol, they're great fighters, but I don't think you can classify them as sharp punchers.
Right.
Sharp punching is a different type of punch. It feels different. You understand? It has leverage, and you're hitting the mark. You're hitting this guy where it hurts.
Right.
That's a difference. And I call that GPS. A lot of guys don't have GPS on their punches. They don't know where they're going.
They
You
just
heard me?
swinging. They just swinging.
They like that GPS.
They
They
ain't
got
got
GPS.
no real landing mark.
They turned their location off, right? All right. Horace, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I'm going T Bud, but I want to know who wins this fight, the boxer or the brawler in this fight?
Well,
The
boxer
boxer.
always going to win.
Always.
It's always going to beat the brawler because the brawler is not in control. You know what I mean? He just swinging punches. The boxer is always under control. He understands what's taking place right in front of him.
So y'all both believe that Bud going to finish by knockout. If it go to a decision, what do you think about that? That's what I'm thinking about. The only way Bud could win for me is
It's
by
by
knockout.
knockout. Wow. Well, I mentioned that when you look at Canelo close fights and it's controversial fights, you know, he's a favorite fighter, bro. And it's Mexican Independence Day.
Right.
You know what I mean? And weekend. I don't know if that matters at all, but yeah, he's the undisputed champion. So it's that old added statement that you got to take the title from the champion.
Yeah.
I think it looms this weekend because he's Canelo Alvarez.
Wow, man. Big
Now
guy.
what about this way? I also got something else in mind. I'm also leaning towards, because of it's such a big Independence Day and Canelo has been such successful and it's like his
This
thing.
weekend.
What about a draw?
Oh, yeah.
A draw.
Everybody seen that draw coming?
You see that?
Yeah,
Don't kill me, Vegas.
No.
I
I told these guys yesterday, I think it's going to be a close fight. I don't think it's going to be a lot of action. I
Really?
don't, because
Nah.
I just think they're both very technical fighters. You're right, Canelo hasn't been that active. It's tough to counter punch off a guy who isn't that active. So Bud's going to have to step on the gas and be aggressive. Will he or will he? I think it's going to be really close. I think there's going to be a lot of arguments after this fight.
Well, how do you believe, because Espinoza is leaning Canelo Alvarez, and it's interesting that all the three black guys pick Crawford and the one Mexican.
I'm saying, yeah, I mean,
Like a California
I'm
prison.
not saying, well, yeah. I thought Antonio was Dominican. Antonio. I mean, yeah,
Come
his
this
name's
dark.
Antonio.
They come this dark, bro.
They do. All right, they do. But how does Canelo win?
Look, I think it's skill. I think it's pace. And I think it's being more comfortable in the ring. I mean, it worries me a little bit. I mean, you guys, I have not been in the ring. You guys have. But it worries me a little bit when I look at Bud and how jacked he is. You know, how muscular he is. I mean, you know, there's a long history in boxing. There's like a prejudice against being muscular. And he's put on a lot of muscle.
No, I think that you guys are looking at Bud and say, because he came into this fight bigger than Canelo. Everybody thought Canelo was going to be such monstrous over him and supersized. And when he came here and he looked bigger than Canelo, they're like, wait a minute. But I watched some shadow box. I watch his pivots. I watch his moves. See, all of that means something. Me and Tarver were just talking about this. Them little sharp pivots and them sharp moves, when you carrying that weight and you're not carrying it right and it's not well saturated in your body, it's not going to turn the same. But when it's good and it's sitting right with you, you could. You know what I'm saying?
Zap.
Still be a
That's,
loose
There
what,
is.
You see
that's
him?
what I seen Bud Crawford doing.
I like that you mentioned saturation, because I was thinking to myself, and I want to know this from both you, Zab, and Tarver. When it comes to learning a new skill, right, to bring into the ring, for both of y'all, how long did it take for it actually to be almost like buried in your muscle?
Lifetime.
But outside of a lifetime, say when you're
still-
preparing specifically for a fight.
So you're saying the game plan itself, if you have to make adjustments, how long does it take for you to really get acclimated to what you're doing?
Or something specific that you have not used in another fight.
When you know the game, you can always
Adjust.
insert some things. You know what I mean? You don't want to change your whole style. You
Right.
want to stay within your realm of what you do. But yeah, we can always do that because we have the insights of boxing. So you can bring something new to us and we can incorporate it in our game. Yeah, I mean, it takes a smart fighter to do that without having to change his whole style. But the elites can do that.
Right.
The elites can do that.
And I would say, like, if you put in something new, a new repertoire into your game plan during training, it'll probably kick in probably kick in around the 8th week of training, like when you'll have it like
Okay.
sharp. 8th, 9th, 10th week of training,
Mm-hmm.
it'll kick in really good. You know what I mean? If you consistently work on it.
Of course.
Because you know anything you add in new, if there's no consistency, it's not gonna work.
Is there anything outside of, your physical training that has really upped your game mentally that you feel like took it to the next level for the both of y'all? Whether that's a book or a film, or maybe it's studying an athlete in a completely different sport.
No, for me, it's the experience. Every time I step into the ring, I learn something new.
Mm-hmm.
It could be with an amateur. It could be with a solid professional. It could be with a guy I'm just working with. It could be with a pad man showing me something, a flip and a move, and I'm like, ooh, add that to the repertoire. So in this boxing game, no matter how high you go up, you're always constantly learning.
Yes.
Love it.
Always.
You agree with that, Antonio?
Of course, I echo that.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. And yeah, I mean, you got to just keep learning, bro.
Yeah.
And when you also mentioned the sparring,
Mhm.
you know, whatever game plan that you incorporating into this, okay, say we need to do this, we got to see it in sparring.
Mhm.
If you're not doing it in sparring,
Can't do
you
it.
can't expect to
Right.
see it in the fight.
Facts.
That's right.
So you got chances to get your reps in. You know what I mean? If a guy is have a low hand and he getting hit with left hooks like Haney did,
Yeah.
fight against
Ryan Garcia. Yeah.
you know, we need to see him blocking that in sparring.
Mm-hmm.
So when he goes back to the ring, okay, we're not worried about that left hook. So that's makes the whole team comfortable. And when a fighter see that he's advancing, now he's like he's on his bicycle. He's going fast now. He's excited that he see himself elevating. But we learn from everybody.
Yes.
You know, like Zab just said, the fighters that are on top. You know, I'm sure Bud watched a lot of great fighters
Absolutely.
to
Yeah.
build himself to where he's at today.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, how do you prepare? How do Canelo prepare for a guy like Bud? I see that he was he was sparring with Jerron Ennis,
Jerron Bruce
but
Ennis.
but Ennis never been in there with Bud, so it's like he's not fighting a guy that was in there with Bud. It was like, hey, he pulled these type of tricks and traps on me. How do a guy like Canelo? Because Bud is definitely fighting the bigger guys, you know, as far as dealing with power and getting hit. So how does Canelo prepare for a guy like that?
To me, it just showed us. To me, it just showed a sign of that he's a little bit desperate and a little bit worried about what Bud can possibly bring. Because for you to go
Desperate?
grab a guy like Boots, for you to go grab a guy like Boots, such, you know, I mean, compared to Canelo, for you to go grab a guy like Boots, I mean, there's a little worry there, a little bit. Like you wait a minute, I heard.
What's the worry though, Boots?
I have a different opinion on that.
But why is that
It's still-
desperate? Because you feel like Boots. Why? What do you mean?
I mean, I feel like he wants to go find the youngest, baddest,
Like it's a reach.
strongest. Yeah,
Like it's a
reach.
reach.
A
Like-
reach?
like,
Okay.
yeah, you reaching. Let me find the youngest, baddest Afro-American young kid out there that's coming up. Let me get all of those guys in my stable as well. You know what I'm saying? Here's a guy that was reaching for Crawford at one time, and the fight was supposed to be made, but it never happened. You know what I'm saying? So let me go grab him. That's not gonna help. It's not gonna help.
My opinion on that is when I look at the fact that he went and got Boots Ennis and he went and got a guy from Orlando, Vasant Blas. This guy was an Olympian, tall guy, and he's a killer. You know what I mean? It shows me that Saul Canelo Alvarez has taken this fight deadly serious because you could have got anybody, but you invested and brought in a world champion. Bro, you know, it costs a little bit more than just bringing in your regular fighter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he's invested in this fight.
Okay.
And it wasn't about the money. So when you bring a guy like Boots Ennis in, you serious. You trying to get a guy that can really replicate Crawford
Yeah.
in so many ways.
I love how you guys have differences of opinion.
Yeah, 'cause I disagree. He got 150 million for the fight, so the money wasn't out. He could bring in whoever he want to bring. In. You know what I mean? I believe he got a little nervous.
MREC TV.